Hey guys, so welcome to what is this, episode 4 of the Tea with DFD. If you have seen our videos from the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about, a lot of our different students' dance journeys as they relate to our three pillars at DFD, which are basically using dance to learn how to be confident, how to work as a team, and how to have some diversity of thought and really like be able to blend cultures together. So today I'm super excited because we're going to be talking to not necessarily current students, but our past students, our alumni, our graduates, my pride and joy. I'm very excited to have Arya Kurian and Sneha Shetty join us. And I'm going to try to add Arya in right now. I have really fat thumbs or something because I always have to like do this when I do this. Okay, here we go.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
good. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So guys, this is Arya Kurian. She was my student up until last year, and she graduated. And yeah, so have you been watching like some of our episodes and stuff? Like, what'd you think? Can you relate to some of the stuff that you've been
I
seeing?
have definitely the last episode. It was about teamwork, and I actually
Mhm.
mentioned this to Devika earlier. Teamwork is something that's always so emphasized in dance teams. It wasn't only in DFD, but also at my school, NSU Masti's dance team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, tell us like to all the people that are watching, like, what's your dance journey been like, and where you're at now, especially.
Okay, so I only really started dancing pretty recently. I did a couple of Bharatanatyam dances, classes. Um, when I was younger, but that didn't really work out. I wasn't really into it. But I started just doing random dances with my sisters at just family events. And
Mhm.
then I found DFD and I started that. I think it's been 2 years now, around
Yeah.
2 years. So DFD was my like actual dance class, the first one that I've actually really been invested in. And then I graduated from DFD, and then now currently I'm on NSU Maasti, and that's from Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Nice. And that's a competitive, like collegiate fusion, Bollywood fusion dance team,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it kind of tell us about that transition because you did dance for education for a year and now you're on a team and like what's that been like?
Right. So it was definitely a very big change for me, even just coming into
Mhm.
DFD because I had no dance experience whatsoever. But then going from DFD to a college dance team, it really did prepare me a lot. So the change wasn't like insane, but it was different. So basically, DFD had taught me like a lot of fundamentals and expectations that dancers should use when they're dancing, and which helped me a lot in college. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely say that would be like the biggest thing.
Yeah. And what was the like audition process like? Were you like nervous or were you kind of like, I got this? Like, how'd that kind of play out? Tell us about that.
Okay, so when we auditioned, it was basically one day the captains like taught us the final set of the dance of our entire set. And
Mhm.
so we all came in, we were all like, oh my God, this is like insane because, yeah, everybody had experience with dance, but it was something so different. Like college dance is just like way more intense than we've all
Mhm.
seen or expected. So a lot of people were just like, okay, this is not for me. And they just did not come to the actual auditions. But then um, the people who like are on the dance team now, we were like, okay, we'll try to get this going and we'll try to like do it. So after the day that they taught us the dance, we came in for other practice days where we could ask questions, which helped so much. So that's like my biggest advice for people auditioning to a college dance team is really ask
Mhm.
questions and make sure, especially with that first audition tape, make sure you get that dance down as best as you can because even though it might seem hard, if
Yeah.
you show that you have potential, I think a huge key to it.
Mhm.
Um, and then
Yeah.
at
I
the end
think
of the week, we just auditioned. Pretty nerve wracking, but it was good.
Yeah. No, that's a really good
Yeah,
point. I think that in college, like I remember that a lot of us, we would look for the fact that you have potential, like you said. And I think like
right.
that applies to even kids when they're much younger and they're training in dance. Like it's not necessarily about like dancing and mastering it immediately. You need to be able to grow from it. And
Mhm.
that's kind of what teachers look at or captains look at across the board, whether you're still training in dance or whether you're competing in it. Like your ability to like take feedback or ask the right kind of questions is what's going to help you grow as a dancer and become a really good dancer too. So I'm sure like when you asked a lot of questions, they probably saw that and like respected that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like what can I guess you were briefly we hadn't really formally started the travel team until like I guess this year technically, but like you were on it for a little bit and so you got to like kind of train with us like that way as well as like regular class and things like that. So like for students that are going to be going to college soon, what can they I know a lot of the girls that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks on these episodes almost all of them said like I want to join a college team. And so what would you say to them like kind of going into that, like what to expect? You talked a little bit about audition process, but just like in general, like what's it going to be like, similar, different, whatever.
So I think it's like a great thing that DFD's travel team already goes to college comps, because I think that's an experience that no other schools can get really, because you don't really see younger teams going to college comps, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's like one thing that DFD has a huge advantage on, because going to comps, you really get like an inside view in it, like at such a young age, you know?
Hmm.
So um, I'd say like everything that DFD and the travel team is doing right now is honestly, it's so worth it because it's preparing them for college.
Hmm.
Um, I think practicing outside of practice is a huge, huge key to it, because at
Hmm.
practice you really need to get everything done, and it's so important that you have like a timeline. You're like, okay, I need to get this dance done, this dance done, this dance done. And if you're not practicing outside of practice, you're just reviewing the same thing over and over, and you're just wasting time. And in college, we only get a set gym for so long and our set room
Right.
for so long. So I think that's super important. I'd say not to get intimidated by it. I think that's my biggest regret, is that compared to a lot of people on my dance team, everybody had a lot more experience than I did. So I was pretty intimidated, but especially since a lot of the people on DFD's travel team had a lot of experience, especially with collegiate cops now. Um, I think it's best to, even though you might get nerves about it, I think just try to like keep your chill about it, because it's honestly not worth it, because at the end of the day, everybody's in the same boat as you. It might be
Hmm.
other people's first competitions, or it might be others like last competitions, but at the end of the day, everybody's nervous to compete, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's like a big thing. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah. No, and I think that what you said about like practicing outside of practice and stuff, like a lot of our travel team members, like they really do that. And I think that's why they're at this point now is like as captains, as teammates, forget about teachers, captains, like your own teammates you can all do so much more when everyone's that much more invested in it. So when you're on a dance team, like you can, or like as a dance teacher for me, if I see like my students coming into class week after week, which a lot of them did, and then I see that they're prepared, then I might be like, oh, let me make this like a little bit harder, like in terms of choreography, or oh, let me put them in a competition, or oh, let me make a travel team. Like, so we only got to that point because of them having that dedication to be able to compete at a more mature level like that. And so that is like such a huge part of collegiate teams is everybody is so invested in it
Right.
that they're going to do their all to make sure that team succeeds. And so I think that is so crucial, like for everybody to mentally be in it, not just in terms of their dance skills.
For sure. And I think like a huge thing in college that I've like literally told everybody is time management is key, especially with being on a college team, because
Yeah.
you never know how long a practice can take. It can either be short or it can be long, but you can't really blame it on anybody, because you need to put in the time and effort in order to get a
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
So with being on a college dance team, you really need to be invested in it, because if you're just kind of like, oh, I just kind of want to dance here and there, it's not going to work out for you, because being on a college dance team, it's a big investment.
It's a
you
big
know.
commitment,
So
yeah.
at first, it was definitely hard for everybody, like time management wise, to get all their work done, and dancing. But it might seem intimidating at first, and might seem like, oh, I should probably quit this because it's affecting me. But I think as you keep going, it gets a lot easier because you get a lot more used to it. So that's a huge piece of advice to people
Mhm.
who seem intimidated at first getting onto a college
What
team.
is what is your guys' schedule like for like the people who are not in college yet? Like, just give us a glimpse of like how much do you guys practice? Like, do you have everyday practice before comps? Like, how does it